What's up guys, Game Master Carter here. Today we're going to be talking about something a little different on this channel. Today, April 26, 2014 has been a huge day as far as gaming history goes, and it turns out that the legend is true. What legend is that? Well, we're talking about E.T. for the Atari 2600. A long time ago, legend goes that Atari made this game, it didn't sell well, it ended up in a landfill, and that was the end of it. Now, it is far-fetched, why would they bury all this instead of just recycling it or erasing the cartridges, making a different game for it? Well, I'm going to try to put up as many pictures as I can here of the event, and also I'll give you a little bit of backstory about what happened. So, for those that don't know, in the early 80s, Atari was really taking off. It was doing great, the 2600 console. And also at that time, the movie E.T. came out, and of course it was a huge theatrical success, one of Steven Spielberg's most famous works, and Atari wanted to, cash in on this. So they ended up paying a huge sum of money, about $20 to $25 million to Universal Studios, just to get the rights to make a game for E.T. And then, of course, all the other development costs, paying the programmers, marketing, cost of the cartridge plastic, all that stuff. So they invested a huge amount of money to make this game happen. And you would think that because of this expense, they would do a really good job, so they could definitely ensure getting their money back. Well, what they decided to do instead was rush it to market. Just make this game as fast as possible, send it out there, and as long as it has the name E.T. on it, it's got a picture of E.T., a picture of Elliot, everybody's going to want to get it. And that was true. It actually sold really well. They only worked on it for 1 month, 30 days, maybe a little bit more, maybe 30 to 40 days was all they worked on the game. And then they rushed it to market. And what they thought would happen did happen. Everybody rushed out, bought it, parents bought it for their kids, just because it was E.T. Well, then they actually played the game, and it was horrible. It was unplayable. The game was actually so bad that there's a glitch in the game if you play for longer than 9 minutes 20 seconds, something like that. The audio actually buffer overflows, and after that it's just a high-pitched screeching sound in the back of the game, and you can't stop it. So even the game can't tolerate playing itself for more than 10 minutes. And back then, having games on cartridge, things were a little bit different. If you didn't like a game, you could actually return it to the store that you bought it from, and you could get your money back, and then the store would send it back to the publisher, in this case Atari. And so that's exactly what happened. Everybody bought all these Atari cartridges of E.T., and it was awesome, but then they hated the game, so they took it back to the store. They got their money back, and then Atari's just left with a bunch of returned goods that they can't sell secondhand, and they don't know what to do with it. And even the new merchandise, the new E.T. cartridges that they're still pumping out, nobody's going to want them because they're just awful. And I once actually heard that they made more E.T. cartridges than there were Atari 2600s, because it was going to be that big of a deal that everybody would want to just stack up, on 2 or 3 of them. So now what do they do? Now they have all this stuff and nobody wants it. Well, the legend goes that they took it to a landfill in the New Mexico desert. They just dug a big hole, dumped all the cartridges in there, buried it, and never to talk about it again. And that the story's nice, it really romanticizes the issue, but it's a little far-fetched. Why would they go through all that to, bury it? Why not just melt it down or throw it away in like the normal dumpster? In any case, today an excavation team went out there and started digging, and they actually found it. They found huge amounts of E.T. Atari games still in the shrink wrap, brand new, some were returned, some new ones, some returned ones, just all buried there, just kept pulling them out over and over again. So that's amazing. The legend was true. And actually, the TV show on G4, Code Monkeys, it only aired for 2 seasons. It's pretty obscure, but they did an amazing episode about the entire E.T. Atari issue, and it actually, in my opinion and many others' opinion, is one of the main reasons for the video game crash of the early 1980s. Because this game was so bad, that was almost the end of the video game industry. But fortunately, Japanese companies like Nintendo and Sony kind of came to fruition and saved the video game industry. But anyway, I just wanted to comment on this real quick, show you guys the pictures of what went down, and now that that conspiracy is over, there's kind of a new one, at least to me. It turns out that the excavation team was funded by, at least in part, by Microsoft. So I don't really know why Microsoft would want to go dig up an Atari graveyard. I know that one of the people there was Larry Herb, also known as Major Nelson from Xbox, and he actually tweeted himself holding a picture of this dug up. So I'm not really sure why Microsoft would spend, you know, what would have to be thousands of dollars just to go dig up old Atari cartridges. But anyways, I just wanted to comment on it, show you guys these pictures, and if you have any thoughts on it or questions on the matter, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. And thanks for watching. Don't buy ET. It's horrible.